Hey guys, I was just going to make a video on edgeguarding with Dedede. I was making this video because when I was looking on the Discord, I noticed there wasn't a whole lot of resources on how to edgeguard with him because there's so much ledge trapping with this character that a lot of people overlook edgeguarding, despite the fact that I think he's one of the better edgeguarding characters in this game. The first thing I wanted to say is when I refer to resources, I mean things like jump and air dodge, because when someone has resources, the recovery is going to be hard to get, but when they don't, it's going to be easy to get. I think that edgeguarding will make it so your DD is more mix-up heavy, just because a lot of people do expect DDs just to constantly ledge trap over and over again. So if you aggressively go off stage and hit someone, it can be really good at just making someone scared of you, and you can take some really early stocks. So off stage there are three kind of areas. There's the high area. The high area is where people like Snake often like to recover. Dedede isn't the greatest at covering this area. He's a lot better at the mid and low range. Mid range is about right here. This is where people like Fox will do illusion. People will air dodge in the mid range, and this is just kind of a less common range for a certain amount of characters. But the last area is the low range. The low range is the best for Dedede. Dedede likes it when people are low. This is when people are often forced to use up B. And because Dedede has so many good aerials, he can just kind of drop down and hit people. So the first thing I'm going to go over is his aerials. His fair is probably his most useful edgeguarding tool, just because it covers such a large area, and it's such a fast option that you can kind of just whip this thing out over and over again, and just kind of set up a wall. The main weak point is that it doesn't have that much kill potential. So if I just raw hit one fair off ledge, it oftentimes won't kill unless they're at high percent. But if I am fair training someone over and they're next to the blast zone, they will obviously be more likely to die. Another weak point is that it doesn't cover directly down or upward. Like, even though it covers a large space, and it does cover some above Dedede and some below Dedede, it's not as good as, say, like Darren up air are at covering his top and bottom option. The next I'll go over is Bear. I think this is a very good move. It's a very fast move, so it's going to come out right away, and it kills very, very early. On stage, it'll kill at like 102, near ledge, so you can imagine if you just go off stage and use this move, it'll kill very, very, very early, especially on light characters. It can be used when retreating, which is really, really good. I'll go over that a little bit later. But yeah, this is just a really strong option. I think there are four main ways in which you use Bear. The first is off ledge. You can hold on to ledge and press back and fall off, and then you can kind of just hit someone with a Bear. This is really good because some people have a recovery in which you can kind of just wait for, snipe it out, and then punish them for being so obvious. Coming back to stage from a fair train, aka like a retreating, if I'm hitting someone with fairs and I come back, I can kind of just Bear, because when I fair someone, I'm facing away, but when I start jumping to get back to ledge, I'm obviously no longer facing away from the stage, I'm facing towards it. So if I fair train someone out, I can kind of just wait for them, get the Bear, and then up B to stage. This is just really good for people who, you've taken all their resources during the fair train, and then you just kind of wait for them and Bear to get that last hit. Stage spiking. This thing stage spikes, and now that there's untekables in this game, it's a really strong option. A character like Fox, say the Fox side Bs, they miss ledge and they're right under the stage. They're gonna have to up B straight up, or close to straight up at least. Oftentimes they'll ride the wall because it's the better option. for them, as at least for consistency. But when you ride the stage like that, it's really easy for someone to drop down and hit you to stage spike. That's why if you see someone like this and you just drop down and go with Bear, then you can stage spike someone, and sometimes when they're past like 120 or so, it'll start being untechable. And especially since most people are holding up during their up B, and that actually decreases the window for teching, it'll make it so it kills even earlier. And even if it is techable, if they miss the tech, then they're dead as well. It's just really, really strong. The last use is obviously just raw reading someone. This is obviously just kind of a given. Like, you can just jump off and hit someone. I would recommend, if you're going to use Bear like that, I would recommend just dropping off ledge, because it's a lot easier to kind of set up and be patient, and you don't have to use your jumps while you're on the ledge, but you're still kind of in that off stage already. The next move I'll go over is Dare. Dare is something that I find that DDDs are overusing a lot, because it is a really strong move. This thing is one of the strongest spikes in the game, and it destroys linear vertical recoveries, and even horizontal recoveries, say like DK. But it's not really that great to use when your opponent has resources. If they have a jump and they have an air dodge, they can get around Dare very easily compared to if they have 0 resources. That's why I only find myself really using Dare as an option when I've taken away both the jump and the air dodge from my opponent. Because then I know if, say, like a ZSS down B or Sheik with her bouncing fish, if I hit them away, I know they don't have their down B, I know they don't have their jump, I know they don't have their air dodge, and I know they have to up B. Then I can just be like, well, her up B goes straight up, and just kind of come off and just dare them. And something that's really strong as the DDD is that you can kind of just stall. You can stall your edge guards. So I can just kind of, oh gosh, why did you go ledge? But I can kind of just jump above here and then go for a dare. This is just something that is really good for using to kill people who don't utilize their resources well. Up air, this is a very useless edge guarding option, to be honest. I mean, the only uses for it are if you're covering directly above you. Say if someone just gets past you and you need to hit them, then you can go for an up air. The reason I don't love this option as an edge guard is because if I cover it for a high, per se, the up air, how it works is if I hit someone with up air, they get sent behind me. So if I'm up airing someone right here, they're going to get sent behind me and back onto stage. Which, I mean, if the up air kills, then that's good for me. But if it doesn't kill, then that means that I've just let them back on stage. Whereas if I fared, they would have been, blasted back, maybe even dead. So it's just better if you can get the fair out, then go for fair. The other thing that up air is useful for is if I say there's a fox and he's off stage and he's side Bs, but I covered for him to go lower, so I fair. While I'm coming back to stage, I can put out my up air to try to catch that side B as a last minute thing. This again it's not like it's the most useful thing in the world. It's kind of just the last minute. Oh, I try to catch his up B, or his side B. But as for how useful it is, it's not that useful for edge guarding. It's obviously a useful move, but not in terms of edge guarding. Nair is another move that is not very useful in terms of edge guarding, because if someone is DIing in, it hits very, very vertically. Even with this Samus not DIing in, it's still a pretty vertical move. It's not like I'm just going to hit them and they're going to blast out like that. Even that, they didn't even die or anything. But if I went for fair there, they were definitely dead. It's just not very useful, and then the best thing about it is that it's lingering, because you have late air, but I mean, it's just still kind of useless. Next I'm going to go over the B moves. Obviously, we have Gordo. Gordo is really good because Gordo can make it so people have to get around it. You can direct recoveries with it. So say I Gordo out. someone's either going to have to go above or below it. A lot of times it's easier to go below it, so you force someone to recover low, which is Dedede's strong suit. His strong suit is edgeguarding when someone's low. So using that Gordo to manipulate someone's recovery is really good. It also allows you to recover multiple options at once, because obviously you can have a Gordo falling down with you to cover if someone goes behind you, and then you fare out. This is really strong for people who you don't know if they're going to go right kind of with the stage or if they're going to be a little further out. You can cover both at the same time. And then obviously some people who have like a straight vertical recovery, you kind of just drop down the Gordo and hit them if they don't have a hitbox. Down B. This is a meme edgeguard. You're not going to seriously use this in any way. The one thing I can say is if you're going to use it, don't fully charge, because fully charged has a lot more lag. It's a lot more dangerous to use than if you just whip it out. If you're going to use it, just whip it out. Don't need to fully charge it or anything. Next is Neutral B. Neutral B is pretty useful. Some characters it just outright destroys. I mean, you suck someone and you spit them out, and sometimes they just can't make it back if you've taken all their resources. Sometimes their uppy just isn't horizontal enough to even get back to stage. It's a really good mix-up tool, just like a lot of people aren't going to expect it. It can catch certain recoveries, like I know Crom's recovery at certain spots, you can suck and actually suck him at the apex of his up B. You can do jank like that. Obviously there's sucking like a reverse B, and then you spit them under the stage. This will make it so they have to use an up B, but sometimes their up B isn't really good, so as far as horizontal, so it actually doesn't let them get backstage. Like they get pineappled on the stage, which is just really good for you because that means death. And then of course there's suck and cuck memes with Dedede, memes with Dedede. You can just suicide. That's really fun. It's not very optimal or anything most of the time, but if you have a lead and they have percent where they can't mash out, just go for it. It's just a good thing to just end the game with. The last I'll go over is up B. Up B is pretty useful, but you're not going to use it a whole lot, but it is more useful than you might think, because if I hit someone out and I use all their resources, and they have a recovery, say like one of the links, or even Fox, you could do this on, like actually just like a huge majority of the cast you can do this on. But you just take all the resources and then you come back to stage, right? And then you up B right in place. And because they don't have a jump or an air dodge to get past it, they're forced to up B. You just hit them in the middle of up B. If you have a lead, if you have 2 stocks, they have 1, you can just do this to end the match. You just see that they have no resources and they're going to be forced to, if they even want a chance to get backstage, just hold left and pray. Then you can just up B and destroy their dreams. But that's just about the only use for up B in terms of edge guarding. Just keep in mind that it will insta-kill most of the cast at 0. Like, this is such a strong spike. And I mean, most of the time, you're going to be getting it after you've hit someone a couple times off stage or thrown them off stage and they have, you know, a couple percent on them already. So that means that basically the entire cast is just insta-killed. But yeah, so that's all I really got as for edge guarding. But I mean, this is just a really strong thing for Dedede to go for, and I feel like a lot of people are going to have to develop their edge guarding because not a whole lot of people have some really good edge guarding techniques. I just wanted to release this. If you thought it was useful, then that's awesome. If you didn't, that's cool too, I guess. I just thought that someone might want a little help in edge guarding. I mean, it's not that easy, so don't get frustrated if you don't get it on the first try, but I'm sure you'll get it soon. That's all for me, so see you guys next time. Amigo! Damelo! Oh my god.
Resources are things like jumps and air dodges. I think that'll be good.